see is amazing. I just don't have the ability. No time for the old timer. Yep. Good evening. I would like to call the April 19th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting to order. Please note that this meeting is being hosted through live stream on the city's website and by teleconference via Zoom. I would like to remind the Planning Commission to have their microphones turned on and positioned so that the audience can hear. Director King, may we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Commissioner Hill? Present. Commissioner Lemke?
Present.
Commissioner Beamstiffer? Here. Vice Chair Van Arsdale?
Here.
And Chair Worth.
Here, thank you. Item 3, invocation and flag salute. Commissioner Beamstiffer, would you mind leading us?
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us here tonight, Lord, and I thank you for our mayor. I thank you for our city council. I thank you for our police and fire and all the public work that makes the city run. Lord, I pray that you guide us in our decisions tonight, and we thank you for everyone here and continue for good health. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Item number 4, approval of the minutes. Are there any comments or changes to the minutes? All right, hearing none, then I'll entertain that motion.
I move that we approve the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting of April 5th, 2022.
I second that.
I will abstain because I was in Seattle.
Motion carries 3-0 with 2 abstentions. All right, public number 5 or number 5 public comment period. This is for items that are not on the agenda. Is there any members of the public that are here that would like to speak to anything that's currently not on the agenda? Do we have any members joining us online that would like to speak, or any e-comments received?
I don't show anyone online requesting to speak.
Thank you. So we'll move to item 6, continued items. 6A for the extension of time 21-005 for tentative track map 35392. Soledad, good evening.
Good evening, commissioners. Mr. Chair, members of the public, staff. I'm presenting extension of time 21-005. The owner is Page Strata BP LLC. The applicant is the Pulte Group. This map 35392, is located on Thornton Avenue at Fisher on the north side of Thornton. This is for 48.45 gross acres, 43.82 net. Pursuant the Subdivision Map Act and the Hemet Municipal Code, the city may, but is not required to approve time extensions. No changes to the project or conditions may be proposed unless agreed upon by the applicant. Tentative track map 35392 was approved by the City Council on March 10, 2009, in conjunction with a specific plan amendment and 2 other subdivision maps. Tentative track map 35392 was for the subdivision of 48.545 acres into 155 residential lots. Here we see the location, an aerial view of the map. This is Thornton, Fisher, Stetson, and the location of New Stetson. Here we have the zoning as low density residential, or this, I'm sorry, the general plan land use. The zoning, it is located in the Page Plaza specific plan, but it is zoned for residential. And here we see that the residential density is under the R6 zoning. The Pulte Group is proposing modifications to approve tentative tract map 35392 that require a determination that the proposed map changes are in substantial conformance with the approved subdivision. Substantial conformance determinations are normally reviewed and approved at staff level by the city engineer and the community development director. Because some conditions of approval are also being modified, it requires the planning commission approve the modified conditions and find the map to be in substantial conformance with tentative tract map 35392. Here we see the proposed modifications. We see that the boundary line shifted 30 feet due to resurveying, the addition of a retention basin, and the cul-de-sac here changed directions, the bulb changed directions here. In addition, these little areas here, 1, 2, 3, were open space areas at the end of the cul-de-sac. The applicant is proposing to split these down the middle and make them part of the residential lot adjacent to each one and eliminate the open space. Here we see a close-up of what is being proposed, the green space, and then split, and then it becomes part of the residential lot 17 here. Here is the proposed condition number 114, which requires that the applicant connect Stetson, and the original condition had it just end abruptly here. And now the condition requires that it connect to Stetson, existing Stetson, to improve circulation. The Pulte Group is currently acquiring the property from Strata Equity Group. The 2-year extension will provide Pulte time to purchase a property and to submit development plans to the city of Hemet for 150 single-family homes and improvements to the site. As discussed before in the prior meeting, it was over the past 10 years, the state of California has passed numerous Assembly and Senate bills to extend the life of a residential subdivision due to the downturn of the economy in 2009. In review of the past extension history for the subject property, it was discovered that the extensions were miscalculated. As a result of the 2 previous extensions, extension of time 18-002 and 20-001, along with state law extensions, the current expiration date for tentative tract map 35392 is actually March 10th, 2025. So both staff and the applicant were unaware at the time of the application submittal of this miscalculation. However, because this application also includes modifications to the conditions of approval and a request for substantial conformance, staff is recommending the Planning Commission review and process the extension of time 21-005 request with a revised expiration date of March 10th, 2027. The applicant has been notified of the change and is in agreement of the extension of time as proposed. Please note, this would be the final extension available. Here we have a table just indicating the assembly bills that were passed that gave automatic extensions, the extension of time that was submitted, and how we come to 2027. So this extension of time and substantial conformance is for an expiration date of March 10th, 2027. It's for 48.45 gross acres, 150 single-family lots, 6,000 square foot each lot, 13 open spaces, 2 water quality basins, the addition of condition number 114 to connect new Stetson to existing Stetson, replot the east side due to resurveying, and this is a shift 30 feet to the west, the direction of the cul-de-sac bulb, and the deleting of 3 open space lots by splitting into adjacent residential lots. The property owners and tenants within a 500-foot radius were notified of the public hearing with a 10-day hearing notice. It was also advertised in the press enterprise. And due to the March 15, 2022, during the March 15, 2022, there were several questions posed by Solera Del Webb, located directly south of this tract map. And on March 31st, 2022, Mr. Matt Matson, the applicant and agent representing Pulte, met with the community, and per Mr. Bice, the Solera Del Webb Board of Directors president, and the applicant, Mr. Matt Matson, he answered the questions satisfactorily that were posed by Solera. A subsequent environmental impact report previously prepared for the project, identifying the project's potential significant environmental impacts, mitigation measures, and analyzing project alternatives. This is how we can see that this is in compliance. And also a mitigation measure program has been prepared and adopted for those mitigation measures proposed in the SEIR. And the city council certified the final subsequent environmental impact report on March 2009. And this extension of time does not propose any changes to the map requiring additional environmental review. Staff is recommending that the Planning Commission adopt extension of time 21-005 for a 2-year extension, and approving the modified conditions of approval, and finding that tentative tract map 35392 to be in substantial conformance with the original map. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Soledad. Does the commission have any questions for staff?
I just am curious regarding those open space zones. Is that going to be a homeowners association in there if they applied for that? I just wondered how the maintenance of an open space was going to be figured, even though they're giving it up.
That will no longer be an open space, but there are other open spaces in the map, and those are through an HOA.
So you're going to have an HOA. Okay.
I had a couple questions, primarily associated with the with Stetson Road, Stetson Avenue, Stetson Avenue, with Stetson. So is the condition of this project, is Stetson Avenue being constructed half width for this, or what's the extent of the improvements for Stetson, and how does that align with the existing channel? Is the half width or whatever is being improved now on the south side, and then the future improvement would be on the north side?
Yes, of what I understand is it's going to be improved half width, and the north side will be improved when there's a development on that property to the north.
And the north side is on the north side of the channel?
You know, I'm not sure how that
So let me try to address
falls.
that.
Sure.
So the developer is required to build half-width roadway plus a lane,
Okay.
Which will be going the opposite direction so that you have movement back and forth. So this particular developer will build that. In the future, and again, I have Steve Lariso, our city engineer, online. you could correct me. But in the future, my understanding is that that channel will be relocated further north in the future to expand that roadway. So the roadway itself at its full capacity will have both the eastbound and westbound, or northeastbound and southwestbound, all on one lane without the separation by a channel. So channel will be located on the north side, completely opposite of the roadway.
Gotcha. Great. Okay. Thank you. And then the other question, and this is probably a question for our city engineer, is in regards to the furthest westernly portion of the project. The project is improving Stetson Avenue along the entire frontage, right? But not beyond the frontage. So on the, I'm not sure, do we have an exhibit kind of showing the
west side of that tract where it connects, or where it nears Warren?
correct. So there's a bit of a gap between the edge of the project and Warren Road. And it appears that that gap is kind of like a parcel that is maybe part of the Del Webb development. And so the question is that I have is, yeah, that actually a little bit further south of that. Yeah, right, kind of right in there. But the question, since the improvement of Stetson Avenue is developer driven, and there's a small section there that does not front any future development, how is that section of Stetson to be constructed between the edge of this project and Warren Road? Right. And so that may be a question. I'm not sure if it's for the applicant or for Steve on the line, but just kind of curious how the city's going to make sure that we're made whole on that portion of roadway that will need to be constructed ultimately.
Sure. We have Steve Larusso on the line. We did have a discussion on this, so he should be able to address that.
Thank you.
You on mute? What's this talking?
That's one of the most common statements in Teams and Zoom.
Yeah. You're on mute.
You're on mute. Well, we can come back to that after we go through public hearing, but that's something I'd like to get just a little bit of clarification on in regards to making sure that the city has a funding source for that section of Stetson.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I have a question if I can.
Sure.
While we wait. So the applicant and the, I guess one of the neighbors got together and discussed an issue. Do we know what that issue was at all? Or?
Well, Matt can answer that. He was actually there to discuss the questions. Did you want to?
We could, let's wait until, I'm sorry, let's wait
Okay.
until we open up public hearing, and then we can get some input from the applicant.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and come back.
He's
to that.
trying to call back in.
We'll go ahead and come back to Steve. We'll go ahead and open up public hearing, and if you'd like to come up, and please state your name and address if you don't mind for the record. Actually, we aren't opening public hearing because we're continuing public hearing. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Matt Matson with Pulte Homes. representing the project that we have here. What was the question that you had again, sir?
There was a discussion between the applicant and a neighbor, adjacent neighbor, and the two of them got together and resolved something. I just wondered what the issue was.
Oh, there was no issue. I was actually invited to their meeting, their HOA board meeting, and a bunch of residents, they had questions in regards to the neighborhood, such as, was there an HOA involved? Would it have anything dealing with Solera Diamond Valley? I told them that no, these are totally separate projects. They also had questions in regards to utility bills. I assured them that we would be paying for our own utility bills, have nothing to do with their community at all. They asked when we would be starting the project. I informed them of the start date. We've had a little bit of a hiccup, but we are starting this week to grade out there. What else? They had questions about New Stetson. If it would go through to and connect to Warren. I told them that it was not. Just various questions along those lines.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mattson, I have friends over there and they attended your meeting and they really appreciated that meeting. I want you to know that they've said that to me. Too.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And so schedule is advancing quickly. Very good. So there's no delay here. Huh?
Yeah, just trying to push forward as fast as possible.
Absolutely. So was there any other questions? Is there anything particular that you'd like to communicate or?
I've read over the conditions of approval and they're acceptable to Pulte.
Okay, great.
I know that you got a question in regards to what's going on in that area. I can't comment on that, but I'm sure that Steve may have more information on that.
Right. Yeah. It's not a part of your condition, so it's more of a city question. So, but all right. Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to?
We have we have Steve on the line.
Great. Steve, can you hear
Let's
us?
try this again. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. I figured it out.
Outstanding.
I'm sorry, Chairman. Yeah, so just to answer the question you had earlier about New Stetson Avenue and the extension. So the developments along the proposed New Stetson would be conditioned as we're going along to develop that. However, that little stretch, as you pointed out, just east of Warren Road and basically up to the development that is here before you tonight is not included in this. Knowing that and the fact that it's part of the general plan, we have applied to WRCOG, which is, they're the administrators of the TUMF program, the Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee. I always get that screwed up, but I think that's it. Regardless, we have applied to that program to include New Stetson on there, which would allow the city to receive reimbursement for the widening and or creation of New Stetson, and then also for development as they come along and as they are conditioned to improve that road, they could apply for credits to the WRCOG program for TUMF credits. So it is in the general plan. When it will be done it's still in the distance because we have to wait for Riverside County Flood Control District to finalize the master drainage plan for the area, which is still several years away.
Gotcha. I would assume, Steve, that that development on the Rancho Diamante development on the other side of Warren Road
Yes.
would probably advance the Riverside County Flood Control efforts if that was to move forward. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah, that development, if and when it moves forward, you're right, would likely be before flood control finalizes the master drainage plan.
So
But
then
that
so
development, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So we would be after that. So this, that section of Stetson would be after, it could be after Rancho Diamante continues expansion of Stetson Avenue further to the west.
Yeah, the flood control district would be the ones ultimately having to find funds to widen and relocate that flood control channel. But Rancho Diamante, in fact, as I've seen all the plans, they would be conditioned to construct 3 lanes in the northeastbound direction, the median, and 1 lane in the southwest direction. But that would only be in front of their development and including the intersection of Warren.
Okay. I think there may be an opportunity to have some discussion with the other utilities that are impacted by Stetson and the infrastructure that's going to be going into Stetson. But that's a discussion for another time. But thank you very much for clarifying how that section of Stetson Avenue is going to be constructed. It's much appreciated.
Great, you're welcome.
Is there any other public comments on this? Anything online or e-comments submitted?
I don't have any e-comments and I don't show anyone online.
Okay, great. So we'll go ahead and close public hearing. Thank you very much, Mr. Mattson. Appreciate it. Thoughts, discussion? Not, be glad to entertain a motion.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt the planning commission resolution attachment number 1, approving extension of time number 21-005 for a 2-year extension and approving modified conditions of approval exhibit 1B in finding tentative tract map 35392 to be in substantial conformance with the original approved map.
I'll second.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much, and look forward to that project moving forward. Okay, moving forward, item 7A, conditional use permit 21-012 Pacific Inland Healthcare. Soledad.
I'm going to be presenting conditional use permit 21-012. This is for a Pacific Inland Healthcare. The owner is Parkside Main Chain Corporation. The applicant, Pacific Inland Healthcare Systems, and the location is 2789 Rafferty Road. The acreage is 2.51. Pursuant to the Hemet Municipal Code, Section 90-1617B and 90-42.4, with the Design Review Committee recommendation, the Planning Commission has the authority to review and impose conditions of approval which pertain to the development of the property and the operating conditions of the proposed use, and to approve or deny conditional use permits. Conditional use permit 97-11 was approved in May 20 of 1997 for the construction and operation of an assisted living and Alzheimer's care facility. Building and safety records indicate building permits were issued in 1998 and a certificate of occupancy was issued into the year 2000. There are no records to indicate the length of time that the facility operated. However, based on code compliance records, the facility was cited for substandard building, overgrown vegetation, no water or power, unpermitted construction, starting in 2010 through 2019. In addition, based on business license records, there has been no valid business license or certificate of occupancy since 2010. So pursuant Section 90-42 .10 approved conditional use permits run with the land and shall be valid upon a change of ownership of the site or structure of the application, provided that the use has not ceased for 6 months. In this case, we have basis to believe that it did cease for 6 months. Therefore, the facility requires approval of a conditional use again. Here we have an aerial view of the site. This is Gibble Park, Lyon, Florida, a Rafferty that is accessed from Devonshire. And this is a location.
That Kirby.
Oh yeah, you're right. That is Kirby, not Lyon. You know, many times we did that. Let's see. Here we have the general plan as community commercial. Florida Rafferty is accessed from Devonshire. And this is how this location is accessed. And here we have the zoning, which is general commercial. So residential care facilities for the elderly are licensed by the California Department of Social Services. The applicant is requesting approval of a 24-hour operation with 102 beds. There are 3 two-story buildings on site, building A, B, and C. Building A and B are residential facilities. There are 13 bedrooms on the first floor and 14 bedrooms on the second floor of both A and B. There's 1 or 2 beds in each room with a bathroom. There's also a dining room, chapel, community room, laundry room, care station, stairs, and elevator in buildings A and B. Here we have the floor plan, excuse me, indicating those, the bedrooms, the dining room, the elevators, the community rooms. And building C is an administration building. It houses offices, kitchen, restrooms, and conference rooms. And here we have the floor plan showing the first floor and second floor. The conditions of approval address items such as clear addressing of the building, repairing of the main gate and providing a Knox key switch, providing a secondary access. Existing fire protection system should be in working order, repaired or upgraded. Improvement of landscaping, and the licensing by the state of California. Property owners and tenants for a 500-foot radius were notified of the public hearing with a 10-day hearing notice. It was also advertised in the press enterprise, and to date, no comments have been received. This project is exempt from CEQA according to CEQA section 15301 as an existing facility, which consists of the operation, repair, maintenance, permitting, leasing, licensing, or minor alteration of existing public or private structures, facilities, mechanical equipment, or topographical features, involving negligible or no expansion of use beyond that existing at the time of the lead agency's determination. This site is existing and the conditional use permit is for the operation of a residential care facility, and the applicant is not proposing any expansion to the site. It is respectfully recommended that the Planning Commission adopt the resolution approving conditional use permit 21-012 for the operation of a 102-bed residential care facility for the elderly as licensed by the state, by the California Department of Social Services, subject to conditions of approval. This concludes my presentation. I don't see the applicant present,
Okay,
but I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
great, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I do. Can you go back to the background chart? You had a background chart on in the presentation?
Oh, background. Okay.
So it looks like since 1997, this has been going on. Is this the same applicant since 1997? This is a whole new applicant then?
Yes.
I gotcha. Okay. That's what I wanted to understand.
Yeah, they're completely different. When that came in, we were very excited that this type of facility was
Yeah.
coming in. And we're hoping a lot for its success, and I think it did fairly well for quite a few years. But I don't know whether it was change of ownership, change of management, or what caused the problem. But in the beginning, it was a very favorable facility, especially they were focusing on Alzheimer's, and we had such
Yeah.
a lot of Alzheimer's relief needed in our valley.
Yeah. So do we have any history on this applicant, past performance, you know?
The applicant has not operated that facility. They have been the owner for quite some time. But because this operation required approval of a conditional use permit, he was never able to operate until now that he applied for a conditional use permit.
I'm just curious, do they have any other operations in any other cities, towns?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
Any other?
Are they looking to, there's also a proposed site that they have kind of shaded next to it, which seems to be a pretty tight fit on the map from what they're proposing. Is this just an idea they have, or they actually are working on the works of this
Well,
proposed area?
The original approval described the construction of the care facility, but it did not give details as to how many buildings, how many square feet. It looked like the two other buildings that remain were another phase. But like I said, there was no indication as to when those would be built. At this time, by what I understand, the applicant is not proposing to build additional structures. And if he did, it would require probably a site development review.
Anything else?
It's a weird location, where it's tucked in.
Different, yeah.
Through a neighborhood to get to it.
I have nothing.
Excuse me, Chair. It seems that I do have somebody representing the applicant that would like to speak when you open public hearing.
Great, thank you. Questions, Commissioner Van Arsdale? Okay. The only question I have, Soledad, is all the unpermitted work that was done between 2010, 2019. Has the city had an opportunity to review that, ensure it's up to code? Is that part of what we're going to be doing with this CUP?
In order to obtain a certificate of occupancy, that process requires inspections from the building department and the fire department. So that's a manner in which any kind of unpermitted construction or required updating will be pointed out.
Okay, great. So we'll have an opportunity to take a look at that work, make sure it's safe, make sure it's up to code, make sure that everything is done properly
Yes.
during the process. Okay, great. Thank you. Anything else? All right. Go ahead and open up public hearing, and representative from the applicant is online. Would you please state your name and address, if you don't mind, for the record?
Your name. State your name.
Oh, my name is Didi Xu.
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
Didi Xu.
BB She? I'm
Yes.
sorry. Okay, thank you. It's a little. Great. And your address?
It's 2476 Cars Drive, Hammett, California, 97545.
Good. I don't know. Is it-
92545.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you'd like to communicate to the planning commission before we start?
I just hopefully get the permit, license, we can open the facility. Everything is ready, just waiting for city, Hamid City is give us the permit.
Are there any questions for the applicant?
Well, I wonder if the applicant could answer my question about, do you have any other facilities in any other town or city?
No, we don't have.
Okay.
Is there a licensing board or oversight that reviews this? And that, I guess that question is either for the applicant or for staff. It is.
Yes, we were provided information from the California Department of Social Services, and actually staff communicated with them regarding their licensing process and what it involves. It involves a background check, it involves certification, and they also visit the site, and then they do periodic visits to the site and report any incidents to that agency.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Shi, do you have any comments or objectives to the staff report and the commissions?
No,
Okay, great. Thank you.
thank you.
Anything else? No applicant? Are there anybody else here that would like to comment on this topic? Anybody online or any e-comments received?
No e-comments, and I don't show anyone else online.
Okay, Commissioner Beamsdorfer.
Your facility, since it's stated as a healthcare, you do have a full-time doctor once you open up at all times, or how does the doctor situation work for the staff with the patients that are there?
Yes, we have a doctor. Everything we just follow the city SI, Social Security Department is the option. We get a license already. The city SI is approval, is the expansion, everything. We have administrator and the nursing and the doctor and the caretaker, co-worker.
I didn't understand a word of that. Did you understand that?
What I understood was that after speaking to the applicant, that there was going to be a physician on call. There was going to be nurses on site during certain shifts. And also there was going to be transportation provided for medical appointments.
Can I speak to this, please, for a moment?
Sure.
I've passed my administrator certificate, so I could kind of speak to some of your questions, I hope, hopefully.
And I'm sorry, sir. Would you mind giving us your name?
Yeah, Malcolm White.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, it's heavily regulated by the Department of Social Services. They have very extensive legal oversight over these facilities. It's very narrow and specific as to what they can do, the type of residents that they can take in, the ones that they are not permitted to take in. And so the residents could be dementia patients. At a certain point, they might exceed the care, the ability of the facility to take care of them. They would have to then move to another facility like an Alzheimer's facility or something like that. So it's fairly narrow, not allowed to do actual nursing care. It's more of an in-between, somewhere between assisted living and full bore, like being in a Alzheimer's facility or something like that. It's kind of in between there. And there's a high need for this type of facility right now. There are 250,000 beds available. The demand is 750,000 beds, so we are way short on meeting the needs of people, of human beings in the Southern California area. We did have a company that had contracted to come in and operate the facility a year ago, but the absence of the CUP caused them to withdraw. And so that is kind of the issue here, is to get the facility up and running. We need that CUP in hand to bring in professional management that can open and do all of the things that the city requires them to do. So
that's a subsequent step to the approval of the CUP, that you'll bring in a professional or a firm to run and operate the facility.
correct.
Yes.
That's correct. Someone that's licensed, fully licensed and certified to come in and provide the management, the care, and the financing to open and operate the facility. And we had that in place, or the owner did, a year ago, but the absence of a CUP caused that party to withdraw. So we're currently in talks with another party that wants to come in and get the facility open and up and running. I think it would be a benefit to the city of Hemet. It would provide a lot of jobs for the city of Hemet, and it would also provide over 100 beds for people in need who are, seeking the care that they would be able to get in the facility. So I think it's a win-win for everybody to have this facility open. And right now it's more of a problem than a benefit. And we want to turn that around and make it be a benefit, make it be a positive thing as it once was in the community, and turn it around and get it back in operations. COVID had a lot to do with the closing of the facility.
Yeah, I always have for long.
Yeah, Mr. White, I think that we would all agree with you that it's more of a problem than, and we need to fix it. I think, at least from my perspective, wanting to make sure that what's happened in the past doesn't continue, or just get rebranded in a different problem, if you will. So, but thank you very much for that clarification. Much appreciated. Any other questions for the applicant?
Just curious, you mentioned that this would create a lot of jobs. Do you know approximately how many jobs would be created by the facility?
Well, 104 patients in there.
Yeah, we probably have 3 staff is a worker. It's kind of like cost 30 people is working.
You don't have to be exact. I just was wondering when you mentioned the job space.
Well, it's a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week operation, and you have to have, the state requires you to have a certain number of staff per patients. So
yeah,
I don't know what the math is on that right now, but it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week staffing with both people who would come in and take care of the residents' personal needs, as well as cooking and cleaning and laundry and all of those other things that go along with it.
okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything else? Any other on public comment?
I have no other public comment.
Okay. Great. Please come on up and state your name and address if you don't mind.
Hi, my name is Marianne Darwin, and I live at 572 Toledo, which is on Lyons and Oakland. So I am fairly close to this, what they're proposing, and I've never heard of this before or seen it. And I've lived here for 6 years, but seeing the background, I understand why I haven't heard about this. However, my question is that he's saying that this is a big need for Hemet, and yes, it is for Alzheimer's. But my question is also too, is this also going to help those homeless that have Alzheimer's that are wandering our streets? Are they going to be able to accept them? And how is payment? Is it going to take their insurance? Is it going to be, I'd like to know how these people, if they're going to give them the 102 beds, how are they going to charge them, and what is that cost going to be? And if they can't afford it at some point, then do they get booted out and somebody else takes their bed? And then also too, I'd like to know, because we do work, we have been working in the city with our homeless, and so is this also going to help the homeless that are seeking to find housing? And if they have, they come across them and they have Alzheimer's, are they going to be able to qualify for this program also?
Right.
Thank
Thank you for your comments. Anything else?
Just to clarify, it used to be a Alzheimer's facility, but I believe this is an assisted living. Is that correct?
Yes, assisted living and Alzheimer.
They're applying as an assisted living facility.
Yes.
It will take dementia patients. At a certain point, they exceed the ability of the staff and need a much, more, with 24-hour hands-on. But that's something that a doctor would decide, is when to move a resident out of this facility into one that is more specialized to treating Alzheimer's. So it's a case-by-case situation. It's also not certified to take in homeless specifically, but anyone can apply that meets the minimum requirement, 60 years or older, and needing some assistance with their daily living. And that could be dementia. One of the large targets is people with dementia or bedridden patients who maybe don't have dementia but are bedridden. People may be in a wheelchair that just need assistance getting in and out of bed, assistance with medications, with bathing and dressing, things like that. So it's not necessarily Alzheimer's. There are facilities that specialize in Alzheimer's, but again, that's the state really regulates these things pretty closely, and they keep you on a very narrow path as to who can you accept, what conditions are you permitted to take in, and which ones you are not permitted to take in. So the CDSS has some very specific guidelines around all of these things, and the facilities have to follow those guidelines. It would be, once a resident moves into a different category, they would have to move to a different type of facility that's specifically licensed to handle their needs. Okay.
Thank you.
I don't show any other comments.
Any questions? Close public hearing. We'll go ahead and open it back up. Please step up to the mic. Give us your name and address if you don't mind, for the record. You don't have to, but.
Okay, my name's Kimberly Victoriano. I live in Hemet, 4526 Berkeley Avenue, Hemet, California, 92544. So to kind of answer her question, not answering it completely for the homeless in Hemet, but I work with Section 8 and with HUD and everything. So so for them, it's like a process as well. So I know we want to solve the homeless problem here in Hemet, but it is like first come, first serve who applies. And then who they accept. It's like this organization and Los Angeles. Everything's approving. So like we want to solve the situation, but at the same time, everything goes through a process. I just wanted to add a comment.
Great. No, thank you very, very much. Appreciate that.
Oh, no. So for them, I don't know. The state does a whole, there's so many different organizations and social services. So I don't think they're Section 8. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the state, it just goes through so many different things. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Kimberly. Appreciate it. Okay, now we'll close public hearing and thoughts, discussion. I see it, I just don't hear it.
Well, I have hope. I have hope that they turn this facility around and it becomes a shining facility in the community.
Give hope
Tough
enough to
business.
move it?
It's a tough
Right?
business. It's a tough business to be in.
Yeah, I guess my only thought and or question for staff is in regards to, does approval of the CUP, I mean, there's a lot of discussion about the state oversight and regulation, but we just saw the background of how much there wasn't, a gap in that oversight and
I think it was empty though.
regulation.
Because if there's
there is a whole process for an open facility for the state to, I'm sure they don't, social services is inundated, but they do have a process that if a facility is open, they have to be there within a certain amount of time to follow up. So I think it's because it was empty. Not
That makes sense. And then does the CUP, approval of the CUP by the city, that gives, there's somebody else that's going to oversee this, whoever comes in as a professional provider and approve that. Who's
state is my
County,
understanding.
well, the county and the state do that, but not the city.
So the conditional use permit itself just allows for that type of use. Who operates, the city doesn't have the purview to dictate who operates and who doesn't. We just allow that type of use at this location.
but there's somebody else that there's some other agency that's going to review and approve the operation of that facility in terms of dementia and the patients, and make sure that the standard of care is what it needs to be in the review and oversight. It's not the city's role, but it's Department of Social Services and someone there.
Correct. And I believe the applicant has referenced that as the Department of Social Services who would take over that role.
Gotcha. Great.
Like the village, and all those different ones have all that same requirement.
Well, it's definitely something we need as a community for sure. If there's
We
any
do. So
other-
I'd move that we
Very good.
adopt Planning Commission Resolution number 1, approving conditional use permit number 21-012 for the operation of a 102-bed residential care facility for the elderly licensed by California Department of Social Services, subject to conditions of approval.
I'll second.
Motion carries 5-0. Mr. White and Ms. Sheed, thank you very much for being available, and welcome.
Thank you. We
Thank you.
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it, guys.
Okay, moving to item 7B, conditional use permit 21-015 and public convenience or necessity 22-001 for Plaza Liquor. Soledad.
Yes, we're going to be considering conditional use permit 21-015 and public convenience or necessity 22-001. The property owner is Page Plaza and the applicant is Plaza Liquor. The location is 1135 South Sanderson Avenue, and the location is 2,448 square feet. Per section 90-42.4, the Planning Commission shall be responsible for the review and approval of conditional use permits. Per section 9090F, in addition to the findings applicable to conditional use permits under section 90-42, the decision-making body shall make supplemental findings before approving a conditional use permit for on-sale or off-sale of alcoholic beverages. Additionally, section 90-90H, when ABC requests that the city make a determination of public convenience or necessity, if the use is not exempt from a CUP, the PCN determination shall be made by the Planning Commission. And that is pursuant section 9090H of the Hemet Municipal Code. And in addition, the Planning Commission may consult the Chief of Police in making its determination. Plaza Liquor is proposed in a 2,448 square foot suite in Page Plaza. It is proposing a type 21 off sale, which means it offers beer, wines, and these are for off sale consumption. The proposed hours Sunday through Thursday are 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Plaza Liquor offers a wide variety of liquor, beer and wine, coffee, groceries, snack foods, confectionery, soft drinks, tobacco products, lottery tickets, and over-the-counter drug and toiletries. Here we have a aerial view. This is Stetson Avenue, Sanderson. This is Page Plaza. Super Walmart is right here. The proposed location is a suite in this cluster of buildings. Here we have the general plan land use showing that it is zoned community commercial. The zoning map shows that it's in a specific plan, the Page Plaza specific plan. And Plaza Liquor will have to relocate after being in its present location for over 13 years at 3364 Wentworth. The present location is in Census Tract 435.19. And based on the population, this tract does not allow any off-sale licenses by ABC. Presently, there are 4, including Plaza Liquor. The proposed location is in Census Tract 433.19. ABC allows 2 off-sale licenses. Presently, there are 3. Approving Liquor Plaza in Page Ranch increases the number to 4. As discussed previously, this proposal requires CUP findings, alcohol sales findings, and public convenience or necessity findings. The findings or the responses to the findings are in the staff report. Findings are in the staff report and discussed more extensively. Here are just what the finding requires. It requires that the proposed location of the conditional use permit be in accordance to the objectives and purposes of the zone in which it is located. It requires that the proposed location of the conditional use permit and the conditions under which it'll operate will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, or be materially injurious to the properties or improvements in the vicinity. It requires that the use and operation is consistent with the general plan elements, goals, and policies. And also that this type, intensity, sensitivity, and operating characteristics of the proposed use and the manner in which it'll be located on the site are compatible with existing uses, character of the established neighborhoods, or planned development in the vicinity. The required alcohol findings requires a separation requirement. It requires that this use be 600 feet away from any private or public school, a park, or places of worship. It requires that this use be at least 600 feet away from private school K through 12. Oh, that one's repeated. And it also requires that the use be at least 1,000 feet from a probationer or probation home, emergency shelter, supportive housing, or transitional housing. This item is actually should be referring to residential. There's a distance requirement for residents. The alcohol findings continue, and this is that the use be fully visible from the street with unobstructed view from the public street or for public safety, that it will not be detrimental to surrounding neighborhoods, and it will not continue to loitering, public drunkenness, noise, obstructing pedestrian and vehicular traffic, parking, crime, interference with pedestrian corridors used by children, defacement, and damages of structures. And that the proposed use will not adversely impact the stability of adjacent commercially zoned properties for commercial uses. Lastly, we have the findings that need to be made for public convenience or necessity. The finding that this is the public would be served by the proposed use, that it is not anticipated to be a source of nuisance behavior associated with excessive consumption of alcoholic beverages or the exposure of alcoholic beverages to minors, that the proposed use is not detrimental to the public health and safety or welfare, that the proposed use will not increase the severity of existing law enforcement or public nuisance problems in the surrounding area. And lastly, that the proposed use is consistent with the objectives, policies, general land uses, and programs of the general plan and any other applicable specific plan, this section, or any applicable zoning regulations contained in the chapter. As I mentioned before, the responses to these findings are in the staff report, and we can discuss this further in our discussion. And on April 8th, 2022, the city gave public notice by advertising in the press enterprise and by mailing property owners and tenants within 500-foot radius of the parcel boundaries of the holding of this public hearing, which the project will be considered by the Planning Commission. On Wednesday, April 13th, staff did receive comments by Mr. Brian Aga, who received the notice by mail and had questions regarding the proposed use and said he would be present at the Planning Commission hearing as he opposes this conditional use permit. Mr. Aga represents Just for Fun, or the gas station and convenience store that's also in Page Plaza. It's the gas station, the 76 gas station, I believe, and has requested an upgrade from a type 20 off sale to a type 21 on sale on 2 separate occasions and has been denied both times. Additionally, staff did receive 29 comments through the online comment submittal available on our website. This project is exempt from CEQA in accordance to the Environmental Quality Act, Section 15301, Class A, as an existing facility. This type of exemption consists of the operation, repair, maintenance, permitting, leasing, licensing, or minor alteration of existing public or private structures, facilities, mechanical equipment, or topographical features involving negligible or no expansion of use beyond that the existing at the time of the lead agency determination. This site is a developed site, and the conditional use permit is for the operation of a liquor store, and the applicant is not proposing any expansion to this site. Additionally, this project is exempt from CEQA based on the provisions of Section 15162 from a previously certified negative declaration approved by resolution number 3544 on April 10th, 2001 for the Page Plaza specific plan 001 and the general plan amendment 001. A notice of determination was filed on April 19th, exactly 22 years ago or 21 years ago, in accordance with the CEQA requirements. There has been no legal challenge brought against this project on the environmental determination. It is respectfully recommended that the Planning Commission adopt Planning Commission resolution approving conditional use permit 21-015, subject to conditions of approval, and to make a determination of public convenience or necessity. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Soledad. Questions? We'll start at the end of the table there. Any questions for staff?
Yeah, I do have a question. So the location,
It's kind of easy because it kind of moves that direction. So.
you can just feel it, right? The Plaza Liquor is proposed in the Page Plaza Shopping Center. What stores are located next to this proposed location in that vicinity? I don't know if you could go back to that plot map or whatever.
Good evening, Commissioners, Chairman. This is Monique Alany Slater, Principal Planner. Thank you for allowing me to jump into this conversation.
Sure.
The adjacent tenant is Juice It Up. Yes.
What are the others in that area? Can you Can you tell?
Yeah, the surrounding, so to the north, you would have Sonic drive-through. You have Buffalo Wild Wings,
Okay.
Walgreens right at the corner. You have the Farmer Boys burgers. Surrounding, you also have the gas station.
Yep.
Fronting along.
Okay. I'm familiar with that area. Yeah.
Texan Salon Studio,
Yeah.
Alberto's, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Used to be
Appreciate it.
Dickies.
Good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Monique.
Any other questions for staff? Commissioner Beamsdover?
Just for clarification.
Okay.
The
I
Page
know there's a
Plaza
question
only
there.
had, for last year police calls, they only had 2 police calls at the Page Plaza, correct? At the Plaza Liquor, only 2 calls for him at police?
At the current location, police records indicates 10 calls for service last year.
Questions, actually, no, I'm good.
My question is for the applicant. I don't have one for staff.
I think for staff, Commissioner Van Arsdale. So I guess I'm just kind of on the ABC thing. So there's two different tracks. Where do those census tracks? Where's the border? Is it Stetson Avenue as far as the where
that's a good
where this is
question.
coming from and coming
So
to?
kind of looking at the overall census tract, I just pulled this information up on censusreporter.org that shows the boundaries. It's quite a large boundary. However, it actually encompasses a portion of Diamond Valley Lake. So it's a large area, but it's an area that's not currently populated to a traditional census tract. So
The one that they're moving to.
the current one that they're moving to.
For the census tract that they're located in right now, the borders are Florida, Sanderson, Wentworth to Warren, and
Okay.
then back to Florida.
Gotcha. So between the two census tract, there's a net zero in regards to increases to licenses. So we're just transferring one license from the north census tract to the south census tract. And then of those current licenses, what amount are 21 versus 20? Maybe I don't need to get that granular. I guess my main question is within the census tract that they're moving to, and I don't have the number. We have 121 right now.
Yes, the 120, the off sale 21 is at Walmart.
The Walmart. And then where they're coming from, there's currently one, or is there more than one?
There's
right now?
4.
There's as far as 21 licenses. Class
4
21.
off sale.
Or 21.
4 off sale. I didn't get the information to how many of those off sale were 20 or 21, but it includes Target, 99-cent store, the Plaza Liquor, and then there's one Stater Brothers on the other side.
So I guess, I mean, my main point, I guess, is a geographic area that the southern census tract that they're moving to is less populated than the northern census tract, where it's a 1-to-1. I mean, it's a net zero change in terms of total. We got over concentrated on both of them, but because the lease is not being renewed, and after 13 years in business, they found an opportunity to move to another location that's directly adjacent to that existing census tract, kind of minimizing the shift and movement of those class 21 licenses.
And something I would like to add is that the ABC will change the boundaries of census tracts. So at one time, this census tract could have extended to where Page Plaza is located now. But due to population and boundary changes, now they've been reconfigured.
Mm-hmm.
So now we find that the census tract where Plaza Liquor is located now allows 0 off sale because the only residents are Hemet West. That's the only residential area because of the way they split up the tract. And then now to the south, the boundary is Wentworth Plaza and it makes its way to Warren. And I'm not sure how it extends all the way to Dobnagoni
Yeah.
Lake. And of course, then the population dictates
Right,
that
right.
2 are allowed.
So we're in effect almost kind of cleaning up that northern census tract. Gotcha. Okay, thank you very, very much. Any other questions for staff?
The project across the street where McRoberter is that a type 20 or type 21?
20.
That's what's being
It's a
proposed.
type 20.
I believe that's type 20.
Type 20.
And just for clarification, so a type 20 is just beer and wine. Type 21 includes liquor. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Great. Thank you. Well, let's go ahead and open up public hearing. I would like to remind everyone, I have a feeling there's a few comments on this. I'd like to remind everyone that there's a 3-minute time limit. And because there's probably going to be a few comments, we may hold you to those 3 minutes. Do we have a list that we want to? Oh, that's right. Thank you. Thank you. Before we get to that, is the applicant here? Would you like to come up, please, and please state your name and that is for the record. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Mehul Patel, and I'm the business partner also in that business. So, I mean, what we are proposing is to move the location, and pretty much we are trying to stay in the same neighborhood that we are, most of our customers, they also, from what, we've been doing business for 15 years now. It's almost 15 years over there now. So most of our customers, they're also coming from that part of the town, from that neighborhood. So, I mean, if you have any questions for me, I'm more than willing to answer.
So if it wasn't for the lease issue, you would be staying where you're at?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, yeah, I wouldn't want to go through this, if it wasn't for anything like that, for sure.
Gotcha. Okay.
And, we definitely want to keep like short hours, and, to make sure that, we don't create anything more than necessary nuisance or, anything like that, in the area. So, I mean, we've been, where we are located, we have pretty good track record as far as, we haven't caused any trouble, even, we have to make sure that, all the surrounding business and everything too.
Mm-hmm. Right. Have you've reviewed the conditions, have no issues with the conditions? Are you in agreement with what the city has set forth as far as your conditions of approval?
We did have a couple of questions on, some of the conditions, one of the point, and that was the 22 ounce and the 32 ounce serving size. Like, especially for the 22 ounce, like, we would like to focus more on the craft beer side. So a lot of craft beers, they, come in 22 size bottles, that's what they serve in. So that 22 size, it might, and craft beer, they are like more on the pricey side. So they're not something, will be target, attracting different kind of customers. But
right.
So that was one of the things that, say if we, something that we can, have on the, and some of the 32 ounces as far as also like some of the, I mean, the Coronas and some of the imported beers, they make 32 ounce size on that too. So those were the couple.
Can I ask a quick question? I'm sorry, what is the restriction on the 22 and 32 ounces?
Prohibiting the sale of something that comes in that container.
Can the city, Soledad, can you explain that?
Yes, based on a previous CUP, the city council required that CUP, that applicant, to not carry the mini liquor bottles, the
Right.
tiny ones.
Right.
And they also prohibited the sale of single-size containers or single-size cans in the 22, 32, and what's the other one, 40 ounce as a condition of approval. What the applicant is saying is that that condition for the single was across the board. He's saying that the malt liquor is cheaper, and that's more of what the single buyers that
So it comes
sometimes
packaged
cause-
larger, maybe?
They're packaged, a lot of times they're packaged in 3-packs.
Yeah.
But the nuisance comes from the sale of single malt liquor, not single imports or craft.
And then are you currently selling those in your location now? So if they moved, the CUP wouldn't allow for that transition. Is that what you're saying? Is that what's happening? Okay.
We're saying that that's a condition that we put on.
Yeah.
And the applicant is requesting that it be modified. And it's up to you to
Oh,
modify it or leave it as it's written.
sorry, I misunderstood that
When
part.
did that condition get placed?
I believe it was November of last year for El Toro.
For a market.
Mhm.
For reading it.
I remember, just didn't remember it being placed at that time on there as
So-
something new.
Well, the planning commission denied it. It was appealed. The city council approved it with additional conditions.
Oh, gotcha. That's what, okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so okay. Gotcha. Thank you. So that explains it. So what are you requesting
Yeah.
from the planning commission in regards to changes to the conditions? Could you be specific?
How those sizes, but maybe specify exactly, some eliminates those kind of beer in that sizes.
Like craft beer or something. Is that how you like separate it? Craft beer versus malt or?
Yeah, I mean they are, yeah, like as far as the it actually says on that beer that it says malt beverage
So can we do that later?
or malt liquor.
Got it.
Yeah. So, well, let's
Even do that?
We could look at modifications. It's on condition number 20, and it specifically states beer and malt liquor being limited or shall not be sold in quantities of 22, 32, and 40 ounces. So if you want to change that language, which allows for, craft beer or some sort of.
some
then
come
we
in
could-
24s,
we
some
could
come in
adjust it.
25s. I mean, is that okay?
Or like maybe something individually versus the 3-pack or something, like the verbiage so that it's specifically giving you the opportunity to sell an upgraded.
Of the
Yeah.
containers.
Yeah,
Commissioner, this condition was originally placed in there to minimize the public drunkenness,
Right.
Homeless buying
Good.
one bottle
Right.
to drink outside the store, things of that nature. So we could look at some language that could work in this situation.
yeah.
There was a reason, certainly, that the council put those restrictions on, and I'd like to be clear about their concerns. So,
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Is it would be good to have an understanding of why the council requested that. I mean, because that particular project that came about on the planning commission denied it. The council approved it with those conditions. So we'd like to know what those are.
Chair, one of the items that we do want to mention is that there was a finding that was not included in the staff report or the resolution, which you have a copy in front of you. It's highlighted in yellow on page 7 out of 9. So that's just an item that talks about the closing hours that was left inadvertently. So,
Right.
and the security, lighting and loitering, trash, those type of items. So that has been included into the revised resolution. So take that into consideration, please.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, thank you. We'll more discussion on that for sure. So thank you. Is there a, did you have a list that we want to go through and call up, or?
I do have a list of request to speak forms as well as the comments submitted. Would you like me to do the request to speak forms first?
Go through public first.
I do have a few. I want to notate that they asked not to speak and they just wanted their comment notated for the record. The first one is from Martha Becerra, representing CCH, and she just wanted to notate her opposition. We have a Cassandra Bedoya, representing CCH, does not want to speak, just wants to notate her opposition.
They say what CCH means.
I do not have any additional information as to what CCH means. Next, we have Miguel Bedoya, representing CCH, does not want to speak, just for the record wants to notate opposition. Isela Reyes, for the record, wants to notate opposition, does not want to speak. Diego Garcia does not want to speak, for the record, wants to notate opposition. Dalia Cervantes does not want to speak, just wants to notate opposition. Blanca Trujillo does not want to speak, just wants to notate opposition. And we do have a request to speak from Maria Casian, representing CCH. You may come forward.
Good evening.
Everyone, my name is Maria Casian and I represent concerned citizens of Hemet. Hopefully that answers your question. And tonight we are asking the commission to deny Plaza Liquor their request for a conditional use permit for public convenience and necessity for the following reasons. The request will be adding an additional license to an already over-concentrated tract. 2 type 20 off-sale licenses are allowed in the Page Plaza Census tract. Currently, 3 type 20 off-sale licenses are issued within that census tract and is already deemed over-concentrated by ABC standards. This does not include the Walmart with a type 21. Approving Plaza Liquor will bring this to 4 to an already over-concentrated location. The staff report indicates that no additional licenses are being requested, but moving the liquor license from one location or from one census tract to another is still an overconcentration for that tract. Concerned citizens of Hemet does not find there's a public convenience or necessity. The proposed use is already adjacent to Walgreens drugstore and the 76th gas station, both with type 20 off-sale general ABC licenses. Walmart has a type 21 license, and therefore the proposed additional license is neither necessary nor convenient. Allowing the proposed use would counter to the general plan goal of enforcing regulations pertaining to the location and retailing of alcoholic beverages. The staff report gave crime statistics provided by the police department on the current location of Plaza Liquor as to only being 10 calls for the year 2021. However, the staff report failed to establish how an additional type 21 license to an already over-concentrated tract will affect crime and vagrancy to Page Plaza. In recent years, crime statistics showed that from January 1st, 2018 to October 9th, 2019, Page Plaza had 1,281 calls to the police department for service addresses along Sanderson Avenue within the Page Plaza. The comparison from the current Plaza Liquor location to the proposed Page Plaza location is not apples to apples. We are concerned that adding a type 21 license to an already over-concentrated tract will have the potential to further increase nuisance behaviors such as loitering, panhandling, intoxication, and vagrancy. The Hemet Police Department maintains statistics which indicate
Thank you, Maria.
that correlation between the sales of alcoholic beverages and alcohol-related crimes, including more serious criminal offenses.
Thank you, Maria. I'm going to have to cut you off. We're going to try to hold to three minutes, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Marianne Darwin. Next, we have Omar Aga, who is actually giving his time to Brian Aga.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we have
Brian Aga will be speaking, but we have an Omar Aga who has given his minutes to Mr. Brian Aga.
You're Brian?
Yes, I'm Brian. Thank
Okay,
you.
great, Brian.
Vice Chairman,
Great.
Commissioners, staff member, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Brian Aga, and I'm one of the owners of the Just for Fun 76 gas station located right in the same shopping center of Page Plaza. We built our station back in 2006, where there's nothing in there. And I've been living in Hemet over 20 years. It'll go approximately 20 years. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, sorry. So we've been, a long citizen of Hemet and a long business owner of Hemet. We have a couple of more businesses actually in Hemet. Due to the changes of, economic and what have you, we applied twice to move my current 20 license to 20 type 21. Even though oversaturated was not applied to us because we would not be adding a license. We will just changing the type of a license from 20 to 21. But the Planning Commission denied my request twice. I don't know. I'm kind of like a little bit insulted because I seek, my city count, Planning Commission, who do I need to go for justice? Who do I need to be equal in here? I'm just gonna compare apple to apple, which is in this case, there is no apples to apple, there's apples to oranges. I have the applicant here. We're talking about, first of all, when I applied, they were talking about four current, they actually, Buffalo Wild Wings considers an ABC license at my time. So they consider 4 licenses: Walmart, Walgreens, Buffalo Wild Wings. They did not include types at my time, and therefore I was denied based on that. The staff brought in
Say
here.
that again. I'm sorry.
They did not include what?
Include what?
They did not, right now, they did not include Buffalo Wild Wings. So the numbers has changed. The wording has changed from my time to this time. At my time when I applied, Buffalo Wild Wing license has been applied and count as a number 4 license as an ABC license, where now it's only off sales, non-sales.
Gotcha.
Right now there is 4 licenses. You guys approved across the street, Macometer, that's number 5 license. And you're gonna bring the number 6 ABC license to the It's,
Commodore was a gas station, right?
it's a gas station,
Yeah.
correct.
It was a gas station.
It was a
Oh,
gas
oh,
station
oh,
across the
sorry.
street.
We
That's
were
number
wondering
5
what
license.
Commodore was gonna say.
Number 21 here is going to be the 6th license. Public convenience necessity. What could you buy in a 2,000 square feet liquor store that you cannot buy right next door, 4,000 square feet convenience store? Why is it so important to bring another business to damage another business, where the other business was denied twice the same exact thing by the city planning department, the planning commission? The police has been here twice in both reports and came in. I want to just talk a little bit about when I was denied the staff report was mentioning there is 14 gas station in the city of Hemet. They have mentioned every other gas station. Just for me to upgrade to 21, they mentioned every other gas station in Hemet. At this time, I haven't seen anybody mentioning all the liquor stores in Hemet. That was the staff report. The planning staff, the police department, they said for me that unwanted presence for licensings upgrade at this gas station will add more criminals. I will add criminal activities, will add homelessness, but I haven't seen that at this location here. The planning department expressed concern to the applicant that proposed uses approved would be the first gasoline station. They already approved the gasoline station with type 21. Again, police department, Sergeant Mott came in here and there says there was also 60, they brought in here all the calls in here for all that. There was also 60 trespassing and panhandler calls servicing additional 15 public intoxication. All these police report, all these statistics here, I haven't seen it here. Where is it? Why were we asked twice to the city brought in twice, the police department bringing all the statistics, but nothing in here? Why are we not matching apples to apples?
Can you tell us what the date was on that?
That's the planning commission here, January 21, 2020. The second denial was in August 5th, 2014. I want to tell you the conditional use permit. What did the city? Can you please listen to this? The proposed use is not consistent with the following general plan 2030 goal, healthy community goals, LU 15.5. Unhealthy development patterns create update and unforced regulation and law pertaining to the location, trailing and use of unhealthy substance such as tobacco, marijuana, or drugs, alcohol. That type of sensitivity and operating characteristics to that proposed use, to the manner which they will be located to the site. This is the planning commission. They even brought me, I'm sorry, but they even brought me Target statistics. Target is all the way on Florida. They brought me Target statistics and police calls to Target to show that a criminal behavior might be the same as my shopping center, which is Page Plaza.
Mr. Aved, thank you.
Sir.
Thank you very much for your comments. I gave you an extra minute because of the interaction.
I know I don't have the time to read everything else, but
Right.
everything is right here.
I think you made a very good solid point. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I have an Isabella Rodriguez online that's requesting to speak.
Okay. Isabella, would you mind, are you there?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, my name is Isabella Rodriguez. I'm with Delano and Delano, and we represent the concerned citizens of Hemet. So this comment is submitted on their behalf. And I mean, look, what it comes down to is two very simple things. The necessary findings can't be made to approve the conditional use permit, and the necessary findings can't be made to make to approve a determination of public convenience or necessity. Both of those are very clear at this point. Municipal Code Section 90-42.5 identifies all the findings required for the approval of the CUP, and blankly, this project just fails to meet them. As mentioned earlier, the tract is already completely over-concentrated with ABC licenses, whether it's type 20 or type 21. So that is directly inconsistent with provisions in Section 90-42.5, which prioritizes, your city's public health, your safety, your welfare. Also, that section requires that the project is consistent with the general plan elements, which this project is not at all. Just to name a few, LU 6.7 controls the location, concentration, and number of community sensitive land uses such as alcohol sales in order to prevent adverse impacts to residences and schools and parks. And we already know it doesn't meet that. LU 4.7 promotes the maintenance and enhancement of property values, which of course will be affected by adding another ABC license. LU 6.3 promotes the vending of high quality goods and services. And maybe most importantly, LU 15.5, which monitors the unhealthy development patterns by enforcing regulations pertaining to location and retailing of unhealthy substances, including alcohol. So those are just two out of the many ways that this project is inconsistent with the municipal code, which is required to approve a conditional use permit. Also, the necessary findings can't be made for a determination of public convenience or necessity pursuant to Section 90-90. There's no way to argue that the public convenience would be served by the establishment of this proposed use, as there's already an excessive amount of ABC licenses directly in that plaza. And that therefore there's no necessity for yet another one. And this proposed use can be anticipated to be a source of nuisance behavior, excessive consumption of alcohol, and various other negative impacts that will be felt by the residents and the community. These are the ones that are going to be feeling these impacts. And the last thing I wanted to touch on really quickly is the staff report claiming that this project is exempt from CEQA review and claiming an existing facilities exemption. The only way that applies is when it, quote, is involving a negligible or no expansion of existing or former use. And even according to the staff report, that location has been empty for the last 5 years. So there is definitely, you cannot say that there is going to be, a non-negligible expansion of use when there is literally no use right now. And
Thank you,
even if
Isabella.
you were to look back, before it was a Radio Shack. So that's already a huge difference. So for the
Isabella, I'm gonna cut you off right
reasons,
there. Thank
Yep.
you so much.
thank you so much. Please deny these permits. Thank you.
The only thing I have left are e-comments, if you would like me to read them aloud into the record.
Please do.
I'll provide a name and address if they gave one, and then I'll read their comment. Name Anali, no address. Comment reads as follows. I am against it because there's no need for more liquor licenses since we already have Walmart and a Walgreens, and more alcohol will bring more crime to our community. Name Dahlia, no address. Comment reads, I don't think is a good idea because there is enough crime around here. People lose everything because drugs and alcohol. We want a safe neighborhood. Name Jose, no address. Comment reads, I oppose because this will just bring more crime to our neighborhood. Name Maria Casian, address 530 East Florida Avenue. Comment reads, I oppose this project. The staff report states that the proposed use will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, citing that the applicant's current location had 10 calls. However, the current location of the liquor store and the proposed at Page Plaza are completely different scenarios. In previous years, the police department responded to 1,580 calls for service at Page Plaza. Adding a type 1 license will increase nuisance and criminal behavior, including alcohol-related crimes. Name is Manuel, no address. Comment reads, we do not need any more liquor stores selling liquor. This just brings more crime to our community. We already have stores that provide that service. Name Diana Alcantar, no address. Comment reads, I oppose. We do not need more liquor stores. We want our kids to be safe. Name Hector Rodriguez, address 4131 Washington Avenue, Hemet. Comment reads, I oppose the project. I don't want to see more homeless hanging around in the area. There is a Walmart and a gas station already. Name Salvador Iniguez, no address. Comment reads, I oppose granting a liquor license because this would only bring more violence to our community. Name Jose Torres, no address. Comment reads, I oppose. This is not necessary because we already have stores selling liquor and the crime in our neighborhood is getting worse. We do not need more alcohol in this plaza. Name Maria Chavez, no address. Comment reads, I do not agree. What we need are more schools, not liquor stores. Name Omar Corvera, no address. Comment reads, I disagree with giving another business a liquor license when it's not needed. We already have enough stores that sell alcohol around the area. This will bring more crime and our neighborhood does not need it. Name Miguel Salazar, address 1605 Hickory Wood Lane in Hemet. Comment reads, I oppose the project. I do not want an increase in crime. Name Norma Gonzalez, no address. Comment reads, I oppose Hemet and San Jacinto have become unsafe cities for our children to grow up in. We don't need more liquor stores around our kids. Name Elizabeth Urias. Address is just listed as Hemet, California. Comment reads, I oppose the project. Liquor or wine can already be purchased at Walmart, gas station, Walgreens, and Buffalo Wild Wings. We do not need more liquor. There is no need for more. Name Claudia Martinez, no address. Comment reads, another liquor license is necessary. This is ridiculous. With more drunk driving and more crime in our neighborhood, we do not need any more of that nonsense. We need a safe and secure neighborhood for our children. Name Anita Luna, no address. Comment reads, I oppose the project. We do not need more liquor. There is enough. Name Edwin, no address. Comment reads, me and my family think is not a good idea since we have kids. We want to keep them around a safe environment. We oppose. Name Carmen Mendoza, no address. Comment reads, we do not need another business that will attract more loitering and crime. There are enough places to buy liquor already. That's a duplicate. Name is Ikran Markey. No address provided. Comment reads, I oppose. This should not be granted. Our children need a safe place to grow up in, and having every other business establishment sell liquor is not providing a safe neighborhood for my teenagers that like to go out and walk the Page Plaza with their friends on the weekends. Name Itzel Ramos. Address Hemet, California. Comment reads, as a resident of Hemet, I do not want to see more businesses that offer liquor and that bring more crime. There is already a problem in that corner. Name Maria Rodriguez. No address. Comment reads, I don't agree. I have a girl and I would not like her to pass by when she goes home from school. A liquor store is not necessary. Name Najiba Kassab. No address. Comment reads, I oppose this license. This community does not need another establishment selling liquor. Walmart and Walgreens already have a liquor license. Do we have enough with those stores and the other few that are within the 1 mile radius? Name Anthony Alvarado, address Hemet. Comment reads, I hate to see another business open up in the plaza that can only offer what Walmart, Walgreens, and the gas station already offers. I see no need for more liquor. Name Silvino Serratos, no address. Comment reads, I oppose to that project. A lot of abuse of alcohol and drugs in this city, and I don't think is necessary more liquor stores. Name Arlene Campos, no address. Comment reads, more liquor means more crime and loitering. We do not need any more. Name Zoila Garcia, no address. Comment reads, I object that this license should not be guaranteed since the plaza already has stores with a liquor license. Name Andres Martinez, address 4100 Latham Street, number C in Hemet. Comment reads, there is a problem with crime. I believe the liquor store will bring more. I have an e-comment. There is no name, no address. The comment reads as follows. I oppose the opening of another liquor store at the Page Plaza. There is already a bunch of homeless, drunk people everywhere at that location. The opening of another liquor store at that location will only make the place worse, in my opinion. There is already way too much traffic at that plaza compared to any other plaza in Hemet. And the last e-comment is from Isabella Rodriguez. Her comment reads that she previously submitted a comment yesterday, but it did not have the proper attachments. Please disregard my comment yesterday and see attached for final submission. And I have the attachments now that she included in that comment that I'll distribute. And that is the last of the e-comments.
Thank you. Do we have enough? Is there one, two? Well, we're gonna need one more. Sorry. Okay. That's it.
That's all I have, Chair.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll go ahead and close public hearing. I guess first off, I would like to get legal's perspective on specifically the comment from Isabella from representing Delano and Delano in regards to the case being made for the public convenience or necessity.
The city attorney's office, our position is that staff's recommendation is legally defensible.
Thank you.
As presented to the planning commission.
Thank you. I'm going to start this way because on this side because I Commissioner Van Arsdale.
And I appreciate that people have gotten involved in this. I do want to point out that in the staff report, there were petitions submitted in favor of this. And there are 162 signatures of petitioners that have, a lot of them have their address and phone numbers on here in favor of it. So I just didn't know if you guys got to the back of this because it was at the end of the staff report. I have some questions and concerns about the a few things. One is the time of that denial and the justification regarding it. And then the issue about what the attorney said. And I just think that there were several things that were brought up that I would like clarity. And then I have a concern that the city council had imposed some of the requirements, and this is a lesser issue, but it's when they asked for the ounces of the beer to be changed. There was a reason, I'm sure, that council did it, and so that might be something that's an offset. But I have a lot of concern about what the attorneys have said. And did you get this letter? It's dated today. Had you gotten this from Delano and Delano prior to this meeting?
No, I believe we received it today.
Okay, so the ability to go through and check on this is difficult to be able to answer all of these things that are going to be in here. Okay.
That's a good summation of.
Questions? Okay.
Yeah, mine too. The only thing I wanted to address is we're not adding a liquor license, we're moving it. I am sorry that it's not the same as yours. No, we're not adding. They're literally moving down the street. It's a different tract. I understand that. It is a different tract. But we also have to think about the opportunity of people losing their jobs if this can't happen. It is not in their control that they have to find another location. I'm just saying these are my concerns. This is where I'm coming from as far as the community is involved.
No, I'm sorry.
But I'm not.
This is not public comments. Go ahead, Commissioner.
So my concern is ensuring that, we're looking at the whole story all around what's happening, and that, we're trying to thrive in a community where there's continued opportunity, and that's where I'm coming from.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Beasley.
My concern or response to, I had to ask HP this earlier, was I couldn't think of a single gas station convenience store that has a type 21 except for Stanford. And Stanford they had a type 21 before they had a gas station. And they were there even before Page Plaza was even built, from what I remember. They've been there for a very long time. And so that's my only issue is a liquor store is a liquor store. A gas station is a convenience store with a type 20. And they've been here for 13 years. They have a good standing in their business where they're at. I've been in that parking lot many times. It's been kept up very well. The front of the business is kept up well. I've been in Page Plaza. Yes, there's a lot of homeless problem in Page Plaza. Particularly, I ate at Farmer Boys yesterday, and the gas station had a group of them hanging out with their supplies and their goods behind the building. So there is a concern for homeless, no matter where we're at in this town. But there again, we're not adding to it. We're just relocating about a half a mile down the road to a different track. And that's where I feel about that.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Hill.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned that there's probably a little too many licenses in this concentrated area. And then one of the residents, Maria, one of the things that she said that kind of struck me is, her daughter is walking home from school. There's a school that's not within this purview. I realize it's outside the range of this permitted area, but kids walking by kind of concern me, walking by this liquor store, walking by Wild Wings, walking by Walmart is not the same thing as walking by a liquor store, in my opinion. So I don't know. I'm a little concerned. I kind of feel for the residents in this area, and the fact that this is a little concentrated in these licenses. And I realize it's a net zero situation, but within that area community, it seems like there are enough liquor licenses already, in my opinion.
Thank you. So my general thought is I find it kind of interesting listening to the public comment. You have on one side, you say there's a message that why approve them? You didn't approve someone else. We wanted a class 21 as well. And then you had, I don't know, 30 different comments saying we don't need any more class 21. So which is it? Do we want a class 21 or do we not want a class 21? But I think, I mean, from my perspective, it's more what you're saying, Commissioner Lemke, sorry, is that it's a business that's been in place for 13 years in good standing that is moving. But I also, my biggest concern right now is what Vice Chair Van Arsdale mentioned, and that's I think it's important that staff has an opportunity to review this and make sure that from a legal perspective that the project and the staff report and the requirements meet all of the requirements as set forth, so that we're not in a position that we don't want to be in. I guess my question to staff is do we think that there would be a benefit to going back and taking a look at this and continuing this to the next meeting to be able to address, I mean, this is, I mean, I don't speak legalese, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of concerns. It's the same individual that spoke, and so we kind of got a flavor of what the concerns were, but it was really about not meeting. I don't understand the CEQA one, but yeah, I just want to have some
Haven't
input on
reviewed the
that.
letter, so I don't think either of us knows if there's any new information in there that's not already known to staff or in the report. If the commission would like to continue, we can do that. It'll also give the applicant an opportunity to address any of the issues that have been raised as well. And the applicant hasn't gotten an opportunity to look at this either.
I think that would be fair, just because I do have a concern about what was said about the CEQA and also about the 90-42.5 section and some of the other things that she cited verbally on there, and then some of the things I see that she cited in here. So I just think it's important that we're very clear, because first of all, it's not our job to create restraint of trade. That's not something that we can do, is saying there's a business and they're going to make it a problem for another business. That's not our job. There are code sections that allow us to not have concentrations of businesses that are detrimental or businesses that have great impact on the area, the community, and on the city and the police and everything else. So I think it's really important that we get some real clarity here, because there are other businesses, because these 2 tracts could possibly have the city's property could possibly sell, and there'd be another commercial venture across the street. We know that the one, when you kept saying the micrometer, that was actually, I believe, a gas station convenience store that was right there. So I think we should have some clarity about this, and I think I would really feel more comfortable being able to have you be able to review this and you give us some definitive answers to the individual points in here.
Any thoughts on that from the commission?
I agree. A thorough investigation is warranted. No problem here.
And so,
considering we got this today and they knew the meeting was today and they decided to submit it right before the meeting, we still have to review it.
and so would we not close the public hearing and just continue it, correct?
And that's correct.
Okay. I would like to make a motion that we continue the public hearing. He can take his hammer back. Yeah, and continue this public hearing to the next planning commission meeting.
But yes, which is, what's the date?
May 3rd.
To May.
To May 3rd.
I will second. Motion carries 5-0 for continuance. Thank you. Go back to my.
And that's what the crowd was for.
Have my script. I have to get back. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 8, department reports, city attorney reports.
Nothing to report.
Director King, community development reports.
Good evening. So at the April 12th, 2022 City Council meeting, they have requested that the Planning Commission appointment be brought back to council. So we have Mr. Beamsterfer, I think Lori Van Arsdale, and I think it's Cindy. Oh, I'm sorry, it's John's. Your appointment will be brought back to council, so they did not make a decision at the last hearing. Okay. And then also we are looking at a community workshop. I believe that is going to be re-identified as May 11th, giving a little more opportunity for other council members and city managers to join. This is a safety element and environmental justice element work study. So it's open, you can attend, just like the housing element component occurred. So it would be a Zoom meeting open to anyone who is interested in the discussion. May 11th. Yeah, we have it on their 4th because that was the date that we originally had. But some of the council members and city managers could not attend that date, so we adjusted the date.
Is that going to be in the evening-ish?
Yes, the format I believe was, I think last time we did it at 5 or 5:30 was the starting time.
Would you please send a reminder or kind of
Absolutely.
an email out to
Sure,
the
absolutely.
commission? Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Future agenda items.
In the future, we'll be bringing back to you the vehicles miles traveled.
What is that?
So basically,
pay because you're on electric vehicles.
yeah. So basically, in the past, city has identified all the different traffic impacts based on level of service of intersections. So they would rate the intersections on normal grade A, B, C, and D. F being the worst. And now they're going to a vehicle miles traveled identifier. So it's just a different way of looking at traffic and how it moves through the city. So we have to get that adopted. And we're working on that. And we're also kind of combining some of the other traffic or transportation issues together. And there's a little segment on Whittier that's not going to extend future. So we're going to take that out of the, or request to be taken out of the general plan for future development. So we'll be combining some of those similar components together under one resolution and review, and that'll be coming before you.
Is that vehicle miles? That's something that's being driven by the
by
state.
the state, correct. So that's all the future agenda items thus far, but we are quite busy with probably, I think we received 8 different applications in the last 2 weeks. So we're quite busy and you'll be seeing all of those projects. Most of them would be very interesting.
Not too many babies. Sorry, that was, strike that.
Strike that from the record.
Yeah.
Unsay that.
Strike what I said because I okay, thank you. Planning Commissioner reports.
Commissioner Hill.
Let's see. I will be on travel starting tomorrow through May 6th, so I'll probably miss the next Planning Commission meeting.
Okay.
Commissioner Beamsterfer.
More of a question than a report on social media and just the development of historical part of downtown. Are these projects that are being done before our time, or like, for example, the old Brickyard, that expansion? This is probably either before my time, before John, I don't know about Lori's, but most of anything going on downtown, we haven't, and across the street too, we really haven't seen anything come to the table here for something that's related historical downtown. And is that something that was before our time, or is that something that you guys are just kind of approving and letting it go through?
It depends on the complexity of the project. Based on its size, what they're proposing, it'll come to your review. If it's something small and minor, it will not come to you for that. So anything that the folks are doing on the interior, say interior modification or something like that, wouldn't come before you. But any aesthetics or additions, those will come before you.
It looks like the one on Kimball there looks like it's an outer change as well. That's being
we
done
would have
recently.
to look at that. We may be under the review of that, but just not ripe enough to come before your this body.
Okay. Other than that, nothing else to report.
Commissioner Lemke.
Nothing to report.
Vice Chair Van Arsdale. Chair Worth.
Nothing to report. So if there's nothing more, we'll be adjourned until May 3rd at 6 p.m.
Thank you.